Unit 2, Concept 1, Intro to Polynomials. So first of all, I want to take some time to tell you what exactly is a polynomial and what's not a polynomial. If you look up in the top corner of your page, there's a little spot that says polynomials and not polynomials. Polynomials have whole number positive coefficients, or not coefficients, exponents, sorry. Whole number positive exponents. So I'm going to write that down. Whole number positive exponents. That's what a polynomial has. The coefficients can be negatives, fractions, whatever, but the exponents must be whole numbers and positive. So if we look here, all of these polynomials have whole number positive exponents. 7, 101, 2, and 3. Okay, now the not polynomials, some of them have variables in the exponent. That is not a polynomial at all. Absolute value, not a polynomial. We cannot have absolute value. Okay, we have a whole number positive exponent, but it's in the denominator. That, if I were to change that into move it to the top, that would become a negative exponent, so we cannot have that. I have a radical, that is not a polynomial. And then this one, this has a decimal, that's not a whole number, although this one is. If there's nothing there, it's a 1. But since this one is not a whole number, that does not qualify as a polynomial. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of break down what a polynomial has. So if we put a polynomial in standard form is basically you want the exponents going from biggest to smallest. We want biggest to smallest. So biggest to smallest. Okay, big to small. So with this one, we have a 3, a 2. If there's nothing there, you can put a 1. And this one doesn't have a variable in it, so this one has a degree of 0, and I'll talk about that in a minute. This is called a constant. We always want the constant last. If there is no constant, then that's okay. So to find out the degree of the polynomial, we put the polynomial in standard form with the biggest exponent first, and then the degree of the polynomial is just that biggest exponent. Okay? The leading coefficient is you have the polynomial in standard form, and it is the coefficient of the first term. The first term is the one that comes first. Okay? The first term is the one that you put first when you write it in standard form. So the leading coefficient for this one is 5 because that's the coefficient of the first term. And the degree is 3 because that is the biggest exponent. All right? So let's do some practice over here. Identify the degree of each polynomial. 2x plus 4x cubed minus 1. This is not in standard form. We need to write it in standard form. This one, there is no exponent, so we're going to put a 1 there. This one doesn't have a variable, so this has a degree 0. That's a constant that goes last. So let's just rewrite it in standard form. 4x cubed plus 2x minus 1. Now it's in standard form. Now we can find the degree pretty easily. The biggest degree, the biggest exponent is 3, so this one has a degree of 3. All right, number 2. Again, this one's not in standard form. This one says 7x cubed minus 11x plus x to the 5th minus 2. This is not in standard form. Let's write it in standard form. X to the 5th plus 7x cubed minus 11x minus 2. Okay. Now it's in standard form. We can easily see the biggest exponent is 5, so this one has a degree of 5. All right. And that is so. If you can look at this right away without writing it in standard form and you can tell the biggest exponent is 5, you can just do that. You don't have to write it in standard form. But I want us to get used to seeing polynomials in standard form because that's going to help us out with multiplying, adding, subtracting, dividing, all the different things we're going to do with polynomials. So let's just get used to writing them in standard form.